Hello, everyone. Today is episode 4 of our Healing Journey series. And sorry for the delay in releasing the next video. As some of you know, I've been traveling for the last few weeks, and if you might not be able to tell, I returned home with a cough and cold, ironically. So, we all need healing. So today, I want to talk about the supplements that I find are helpful for improving our mental health. So today, I want to talk about the top 5 supplements that I find helpful for mental health. Many people I talk to these days are dealing with anxiety and or depression or both. And I even see it with the kids that I work with. It's a heavy world that we live in, and people are stressed out. So today I'm going to share with you some of my favorite nutritional supplements that show good promise for improving mental health. Now, note that I am not a doctor, so please consult your physician when considering taking a new supplement. But I am a certified nutrition therapist, and as such, I know a thing or two about nutrients. And I believe that food is medicine, or in this case, nutrients are medicine. Supplements can be helpful, and they're the key to good health. So, the question is, why supplements? Can we get these things from foods? Well, yes, in theory we can. But in a day where big agriculture is the norm and we have many processed foods and our soils are depleted, the foods that are grown in these soils are deficient in many of the essential vitamins and minerals that we require. And studies show that many people who suffer from anxiety, depression, or conditions like ADD or ADHD are low in a few important nutrients that may contribute to these conditions. Plus, many people do not respond well to pharmaceutical prescriptions for these conditions. So, if you or a family member has struggled with your mental health, please consider the following supplements as an adjunct to your other treatments. They shouldn't interfere. Talk to your doctor. And these are readily available over the counter. Again, never ever stop a medication like an SSRI cold turkey without consulting your physician, because the side effects can be tricky getting off of them. So talk to your doctor. Okay, the first supplement that I want to talk to you about is a simple one. In fact, all of these are pretty simple. And it's the B vitamins, and especially B12 and folate. Okay, but not just any B12 or folate. I want to recommend that you find a methylated B12 and folate product. We've all heard of the B vitamins, we know they're essential, but the methylated B vitamins are especially effective because nearly half of the population has a genetic mutation called MTHFR. Sorry, I don't want to get too technical with you, but this gene defect is so common that it makes it difficult for many of us to methylate or convert these vitamins into a usable form. Again, so B12, critical in so many body processes, from DNA synthesis to red blood cell formation, energy production, and yes, mood regulation. And folate, which is not to be confused with folic acid that you see on the side of a cereal box or something like that. That is the synthetic form, and it's not as effective, especially in like cheap vitamins. So look for folate. This is essential for good brain health and forms the building blocks for serotonin and dopamine. And so look for folate. That's essential for good brain health and forms the building blocks for serotonin and dopamine. And these are critical for mood regulation, as many of you know. folate deficiencies are believed to be responsible for ADD and ADHD and dyslexia and other conditions that we see in our children, right? And of course, they're living in a world where we have many, many processed foods and the soils are depleted, as I said. So how do you know if you have this MTHFR gene variant, and I'll write that right above? You can test for it, right? But the cost is pretty expensive. It can be over $500. So if you don't have the money to test or just want to skip that step, just try taking the methylated versions. Look for methylcobalamin, which is B12, and methylfolate to be sure that they're being absorbed properly. I'll put them in the notes below too, so you're not confused. And I prefer a liquid form, excuse me, because it bypasses the stomach. So this one actually has the words MTHF on the label right here. You can find it online. And this one combines both B12 and folate. So, and you just take one dropper, and you'll see that it's a pretty cherry red color, and it tastes good too. Tastes like berries. So put a dropper full under your tongue, let it sit for as long as you can until you have to swallow. And that's because we have a lot of, we can absorb a lot of nutrients right through our mouths into the bloodstream, and it bypasses our stomachs. But it's fine to swallow it too. It's fine. It's fine that way as well, and we can absorb more of it in our stomachs too. So that's my number one. Number two, vitamin D3. I think we've all heard about vitamin D, but do you know what it does for you, right? Unless you work outdoors in a temperate climate, you are likely to experience a vitamin D deficiency in this world, especially for those with darker skin who don't absorb as much through their skin. Darker skin pigmentation can block that sun from coming through. Or for those who live in high altitudes, latitudes, where sunlight is scarce and the nights are long in the wintertime. And this is because vitamin D3 is actually synthesized in our bodies when our skin is exposed to sunlight. So supplementation is important when we can't make our own. Many health conditions can occur from low vitamin D levels, from fatigue, hair loss, and brittle bones. We may get sick more often. It's really important for our immunity. But also, you got it, a lack of vitamin D can cause depression and anxiety. I like to take a D3 supplement and make sure it says D3. You can take the pills, but it's good to take it along with a vitamin called K as well. K2, or in this case I take something called MK7 that's along with D3. And I take mine in an oil format that, again, it absorbs in my mouth, just under my tongue. But you can take the supplement, pills as well. These two, D3 and K2 work synergistically together. Okay. 3. There's very good evidence that omega-3 supplements from fish oil are very effective for treating mood disorders and inflammation. Many studies show that adding fish oil along with the use of an SSRI like Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil, for example, for depression and anxiety can increase its efficacy. And some studies have found that it can be as effective on its own. But again, make sure that you talk to your doctor. Make sure that your fish oil supplement has as much as 1,000 milligrams of EPA. Okay, you may want to make sure that it's just higher in EPA versus DHA. You're going to see that on the label. So here's one that I take. I take a salmon oil, it's 1,000 milligrams, and it will say right on your label what you're getting. But EPA is the preferred form of omega-3 to have good mental health. Okay, if you're a vegan, you say, I don't want to take a fish oil. You can take flaxseed oil because that's very high in another form of omega-3 called ALA, but it has to be converted into EPA and DHA in your body. And unfortunately, some people have difficulty with this conversion, so they may not get the effects that they're looking for. So the animal-based form is much better, but you use whatever works for you. And by the way, some studies have shown that higher DHA supplements are better for dyslexia and other learning disabilities. Okay, on to number 4, magnesium. Magnesium is a critical mineral, and it's an electrolyte that studies show as many as half of us and possibly 3/4 of us are deficient in. One reason is those depleted soils that I mentioned above from poor farming practices. But other factors are alcohol use, type 2 diabetes, age as well, are contributing factors in our ability to absorb magnesium. Okay, magnesium is essential for heart, bone, and muscle health, plus blood sugar regulation, and you guessed it, mental health. Magnesium particularly helps with anxiety by increasing the production of GABA in our brains. GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter that calms down the nervous system, therefore reducing anxiety and stress. And the best forms to take are magnesium glycinate, which is readily available, or magnesium L-Threonate, which is what I take. This is proven to be the most absorbable form. But I take it at bedtime because it makes me sleepy. Again, these have a relaxing effect on people, which is what you want with anxiety, yes, and depression. Let's see, and if you cannot take it orally, this is really important too. You can get magnesium through the skin. So take a bath with Epsom salts, which contain magnesium sulfate, at night before bed. For the oral form, the recommended dose is about 420 milligrams for men or 310 for women, but read the label on the side of your bottle. Use caution not to take too much because too much magnesium can cause stomach cramps and diarrhea. Nobody wants that. But on the other hand, a little extra can help us with constipation. Number 5 is called lion's mane. Yes, it is a type of mushroom that is showing amazing benefits for cognitive function, memory, and focus. It comes in capsules, powders, which is what I take. Mine's a powder here. Excuse me. And it's sold in whole mushroom form as well. If you can find that, great. But it's hard to really know how much you're getting if you're actually eating the mushroom. There's a lot of evidence that lion's mane may help with traumatic brain injury and stroke, as well as memory issues and general cognitive health. And it also reduces inflammation and increases our neurotransmitters, again, serotonin and dopamine. And as such, it helps with depression and anxiety, among many other conditions. Some of the other health benefits are improved immune function, increased energy level, improved focus, and reduced overall stress levels. I use about a teaspoon of the powder in my coffee or in a smoothie in the morning, and I think it's my favorite new supplement. So that's it. Those are the 5 supplements that I recommend for mental health. If you suffer with mood disorders or other mental health conditions, all of these supplements can be helpful. Talk to your doctor. but most of these are really easy to find and should be our first line of defense for good health anyway. You can find these at the drugstore or a health food store or purchase them online. And none of these supplements requires a prescription. They can make a big difference. Yeah. And if you have other safe, natural supplements to add to this list, please put them in the comments below. What are your experiences with any of these or anything else that you've taken for good mental health? And last, please do your own homework. Research these yourselves. Make sure that you're safe when taking new supplements. We don't just want to be taking things, and we want to be careful for interactions with other medications. If you like what you find here, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And let me know how these worked for you. I would appreciate that. And as always, thanks for joining me, and please be good to yourself.